Who is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this. Yo, mom in the fucking stand!
I think music makes such an impact on everybody, but especially like what you're into when you're young. You know, like those formative years, whatever you're listening to stays with you. And that's why like people like really align themselves with that music that was during that time period, you know? Like to me it makes so much more sense now when I was a kid and like your parents would be listening to oldies and you're like, why are you listening to this old shit? And it's like, well, that was their formative years music.
Well, I mean, you know, certain songs, you know, symbolize certain moments. Things. You know, you remember what you were doing when that song came out, or the first time you heard it, or who you were dating or in love with, or trying to even get with, you know, things like that. You know?
Yeah, and I see it actually. You have one of these an Instagram page where I feel like you're one of the people who, regardless of your celebrity, you're very much yourself. Like it doesn't matter that you're a famous entertainer. You share like, this is the music I like. These are the movies I like. This is my point of view on things. It really is a peek into like who you are. I feel like somebody could see that and be like, these are the things that have impacted you.
Well, you know, up until social media, you know, you really had to just try to decipher through interviews what's in an artist's mind, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, when you can actually contact with your fan base and supporters and share with them what you're listening to or watching, you know, it just makes it a lot easier for them to understand you, you know?
What was your, like, these are things I've always wanted to ask. What was, like, in the rotation of music that you liked as a kid, like growing up, you know, before you were actually making music?
Marvin Gaye. I listen to Marvin Gaye probably more than any other artist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I've always also wanted to ask this to anybody who's like, I mean, you know, when you're like really skilled as an MC, when you like, you know, it feels like it comes naturally out of you. Is it a gift? Like, did you figure out that you could do this really young?
Yeah, how'd you know you could even do this?
Yeah, I mean, it was something that I got into just because an older cousin was doing it. You know, that was really like, you know, the main reason for me starting.
Yeah.
But he was rhyming with two other guys that was his age and told me I was too young.
How old are you when you're too young, he says?
Probably about 12.
So you're like 12?
I think maybe, yeah, like probably about 12. 12, 13. So anywhere between 12 and 14. I can't remember.
But they're like, you're too young.
Yeah.
So then you started writing notebooks and stuff?
Yeah, you know, started writing rhymes, but I was writing, you know, like battle rhymes to prove that I was better than the two dudes that he was with, so that he would put me down with his crew.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Can you remember your first rhymes, with the first things you wrote?
Not some of the very first, probably like a year or two later, I want to say. No, probably like a year later. I can remember one, because I always tell, you know, the story about it, like when I first heard Cold Crush Brothers, you know, like I thought I was that dude. I was like, I'm popping, I got it. And I remember kicking around to one of my boys. At this point, I wasn't Kane, I was Tony T. Yeah. And I had this rhyme saying, I'm the Tony, the Tee. Your hands can't hit what your eyes can't see, because I know the tricks and I know the trades. I'm as sharp as a motherfucking razor blade. And, you know, I thought I was killing it.
You are killing it.
I mean, shit.
That's better than anything.
If a fucking 13-year-old said that to me, I'd be like, we'll sign you right now. I'm going to drive you over to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
But nah, my friend told me to listen to Grandmaster Caz.
Yeah.
From the Cold Crush. And when I heard him, I was like, yeah, I'm doing everything wrong.
Really? Mm-hmm. But see, like, I feel like if any, especially a kid that young, even hearing someone like Grandmaster Caz, I would still feel like, yeah, my shit's nice. like you still were able to recognize how much better that guy was than you at that time.
Well, see, I had battled a lot of people.
Yeah.
And beat them all. So, you know, I knew what I knew, and that's the level of greatness that I understood.
Okay.
Then I hear this guy, and I'm like, I'm nowhere near that.
You recognize it.
Yeah, straight. Like that
And
day.
was the Kaz thing, was it like a battle tape or was it like a record?
It was like they was at a party, like one of the Cold Crush concerts, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, 'cause I was used to their routines, their group routines.
Right.
I hadn't heard them rhyme individually yet, and so I'm listening to this, and I'm hearing Grandmaster Kaz, captain of the four. Another nigga couldn't touch me if he had a rhyme store. Even if he had a plant manufacturing rhymes, he couldn't make them no better than I make mine. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I got a long way to go.
You got a long way to go.
Yeah.
But you're still like, I think a big part of it is that, I mean, I think most young people might not even recognize it. That, you know what I mean? That like, you probably advanced so much. And then was it a matter of like, you just were like, I'm going to go pen to paper all the time? Like keep working like that? Like writing like an author would write?
Yeah. Because see, back then, you know, I didn't have a record deal.
Right.
And I honestly wasn't even focused that heavy on getting one. I was really just focused on being, you know, the greatest MC in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. That was probably my biggest concern. So I'm always writing new rhymes because I'm battling like every week.
Are you on street corners? Or,
yeah, street corners, park jams, community centers.
Shit.
You know, sometimes I even, you know, I went to people, you know, knock on their door, say hello to their mother and ask, can I speak to their son? You know?
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And how, I mean, I've never been in, wait, no, I've done a rap battle on the TBS show and I won it.
Do
no,
one against him.
never. As a joke, like a joke off. And the pressure to think on your toes like that, on your feet, I mean, I don't know. Is that just a gift that you had or?
It must be.
Did you just shit your pants every time? Like,
Nah, I was cool with it. You know, I mean, you know, because it was like, I was I was a big Marvin Gaye fan, but I was also a Muhammad Ali fan.
Yeah.
So at a young age, I already knew how to get into other people's heads.
really?
And you have a natural, that's like, you cultivated the confidence and shit talking, because there's a lot of, you know, there's metaphors and punchlines and shit in your rhymes.
Oh yeah.
So like you were working that out.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of always punch. For example, if you were one of those MCs with a big vocabulary, then I would, you know, come at you, you know, in a comical way, you know, and, you know, just crack jokes on you, you know. Or if you were that type of MC, then I would switch up and start using big words, but I wouldn't just sit there and use big words.
Yeah.
I would use them and then explain it how, like, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
To make you look, you know,
humiliate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always wondered this too, like when somebody has like your skill level and like, you know, when you listen to like a Mos Def or Qualies, guys who you're just like, wow, this is an incredible command of the English language and command of words. Like in my mind, I've always like, you know, I've never asked, but I've been curious. Did you read a lot? Like were you somebody devouring books, or did you just have amazing access to words?
I wouldn't say I read a lot, but I did read.
You did read?
Yeah.
Yeah, and in those years where you read, like, you know what I mean? Like in your teens,
I studied.
You did?
I studied a lot. I studied a lot of things, and I studied a lot of people.
Right.
You know, like, you know, what makes this person mine, you know, where did this person come from with this concept, this idea? You know?
And so this, like in battling a lot of ways, there was like strategy. You were like figuring something out.
Well, you know, they were playing checkers. I was playing chess, you know, it was that type of thing. Because it was like, I wanted to already be in your head before the battle started.
Yeah.
You know?
It's amazing. It's such an amazing skill set. And then the other thing I was realizing is like, you're so young, like you get more perspective on it the older you get, like with just in life. But when like your first album came out, that's 88? Mm-hmm. So are you 20?
Yep.
Oh
20 years
God.
old. That's fucking nuts. Like to think about it now, to have that level of exposure and success and just being able to put out that album, let alone that song, like, so basically, because this is the thing that it hit me afterwards. I was like, oh, like you've probably like you've never had from then you never had a job. Like you've been an entertainer your whole life, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think my last job is probably in 85, 86.
Do you remember what you did?
Yeah, I was delivering fruit crates to like the fruit markets in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, we go up to Hunts Point and pick up the crates of fruits and vegetables, put them on the back of the truck, and come back to like about 3 or 4 different fruit markets early in the morning, drop them off, and right from there, then I go to school.
Oh my!
Wow.
Yeah.
And were your parents supportive of you becoming a rapper?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my pops, he was more or less the, I don't, whatever you do it. You just don't fuck with that beer in the fridge. He was really that type.
Yeah.
My mom's.
Sounds like my dad.
Yeah. My mother, my mother, she was more like, like me and Mr. CB, that was my DJ at the time. We in the crib working on something. She would come in there like, oh, you and Calvin doing your hip hop thing? Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's not too loud. Mommy just got home from work.
Oh, just keep it down.
Yeah, but she was cool with it.
What about when she heard your lyrics? Was she like, what are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it's like, I think my mother's always been supportive of my mind state, like the way I think and, my views. Because there was one time we clashed over something concerning school, and she was just shocked to see that the guidance counselor agreed with me and tried to work with me.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like, I think from that point on, she kind of respected me more as an adult and, my views,